Hey guys, it's Mr. Walker here. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be building on what we've learned in some previous lessons with addition and with using tape diagrams and different things like that. We're going to take what we've learned and we're going to use it to do some problem solving with word problems. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Word problems, right? That's problem solving. It's a lot of extra work. It's things I got to read. You're probably breaking out in sweats right now. I get it. Okay, I know this is one of the things that a lot of students get a little intimidated by, and I'm here to tell you that you shouldn't be. Okay, the work that you're doing, the work that you're putting in, is helping you to gain the knowledge that you need to be successful with word problems. And we're going to be doing a lot of practice with them this year. We're going to look at how we can break them apart and how we can draw tape diagrams and different things to help us solve them. And you're going to get better and better as the year goes on. I promise you that. And if at any time you feel like you're struggling or it's not making sense or it's not clicking, the good news is you have a ton of support around to help you, right? You have your learning guides at home. You have me here at eSchool. You have other teachers at eSchool, other people that you can reach out to. You just have to self-advocate and say, hey, you know what? I need some extra help with this. And you got all these people that'll jump in and help you. So even though we're working with dreaded word problems today, I promise you that we're going to take it step by step. We're going to break it down, and hopefully it's going to help you to make a lot of sense out of these and not feel so intimidated by them, because you're a math genius, okay? Take some pride in yourself. You got this, all right? So what you're going to need to start out with is just something to write on, something to write with, okay? Whether that's a dry erase marker in your dry erase sheet or a piece of paper and a pen, something like that. Just have something to write with and to write on. And we're going to take a look at some different problems today and do some problem solving using the tape diagram. So if you're not sure what that is, you might want to go back and review, look in your notes, and kind of brush yourself up on what that is, and we're going to put it to work today for sure. So once you have all those things and you're ready to go, click continue and we'll get started. All right, so let's take a look at our first example here. And this is a word problem that says let's go ahead and read it together, and then we'll read it a second time, because I like to read my problems a second time, because sometimes you catch something on the second time that you didn't see the first time. So this one says, the city flower shop sold 14,594 pink roses on Valentine's Day. That's a lot of roses. They sold 7,857 more roses than pink roses, more red roses than pink roses. Okay, so they sold two different colors. That's what I'm seeing so far. How many pink roses and red roses did the city flower shop sell altogether on Valentine's Day? All right. And they want us to use a tape diagram to show our work. So again, to read it one more time, the city flower shop sold 14,594. I'm going to go ahead and just highlight that, because I'm sure that's going to be important somewhere. And these are pink roses on Valentine's Day. They sold 7,857 red roses, more red roses than pink roses. So that looks like that's going to be important too. How many pink and red roses did the city flower shop sell all together? So that's the actual question that they're asking us. How many did they sell all together, right? So we got a few numbers going on here, and we got some key words and phrases that we definitely want to hone in on. So the first thing I'm going to do before I even, start to add or subtract or do anything else is I just want to kind of draw this out so I can visualize it, okay? We know what they're asking us. We got some key important numbers up there, but I just want to draw it out, map it out using a tape diagram so I can actually maybe see what I need to do and see how I can go about solving it. So first of all, I know that they sold 14,594 pink roses. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a box here for pink roses. Okay, so these will be my pink roses. And I know that they sold, let's see here, 14,594 pink roses. So that's going to represent my pink roses, okay? I'm good with that. Then it says they sold 7,857 more red roses than pink roses. More. So that means they sold all of the pink roses plus some, right? So I'm going to put red here. I'm going to draw another box to represent my red roses. Okay, and I know that they sold the same amount as the pink roses, right? So I know they sold that 14,594. And they sold more, right? The red roses sold more. They sold as much as the pink roses and more. So how many more? 7,857. So I know I'm going to draw another box here, or a rectangle here, with, let's see, 7,857 and 57. So this would represent how many red roses they sold, and this represents how many pink roses they sold. So this kind of helps me to visualize it a little bit, right? Now, what is the question asking me again? So let's look at the question. What's it asking me? It says how many pink and red roses did the city flower shop sell all together on Valentine's Day? So they want to know the total. They want to know what all of these boxes add up to, and that will be the number of roses. That's what we don't know, right? This is our variable. This is what we're looking to find out. How many roses did they sell all together? So now that I have this laid out and I could see things a little differently and visualize it a little bit better, how do you think we can go about solving this problem now? What are the steps that you would take to solve this? Exactly. Well, I heard some good discussion out there, and what I'm thinking is we need to add up the number of pink roses plus the number of red roses to get our total number of roses. Well, we don't know the total number of red roses yet, so we're going to have to add these two numbers together to get that first. So if I were to add 14,594 plus 7,000, got to line up those place values there, 7,857. If I were to add up these two numbers, what would we get? This would tell us the total number of red roses, right? So let's add them up and see what we get. So 4 plus 7, I started at 4 and I counted on 7, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm going to put my 1 in the ones place right here, and I'm going to carry the 10 over this way. I'm going to bundle it and put it over here. So now I have 9 plus 5 plus 1. So 9 plus 5 is going to give me 14, plus 1 more would give me 15. So I'm going to put my 10 here, and I'm going to carry my 100, put them right here. So now I have 5 plus 8. 5 plus 8 would give me 13, plus this one more 10 would give me 14. I'm sorry, plus one more 100 would give me 14. So I'm going to put my 4 down here and bundle that other 10 over here. Now I have 4 plus 7, which would give me 11, plus that one more 1,000 would give me 12. Carry this guy. 1 plus 1 is 2. Whew. So now I have 22,451. That's how many roses they sold, and that is a lot of roses. So I'm going to, let's see if I could squeeze this in here, 22,451. Okay, so that's going to be the total number of roses that they sold, which is great. That's an awesome number to have. That's going to help us to keep going, but that's not where we could stop, right? This is what you call a multi-step problem. So the first step was us to find the number of red roses. Now we have to take the total number of red roses, add it to the number of pink roses, and then we should have the total amount of all of the roses, right? Which is the R. That's the variable that we're looking for, the total number of roses. So what I want you guys to do is, how would you set up vertically, right? How would you set up this next part of the problem? Adding up the total number of red roses plus the number of pink roses. Go ahead and set that up. Show me how you would set that up, and then we'll come back and solve it together. Awesome. So here's how I would set it up. I have my place values lined up, my ones place, tens place, hundreds place, thousands place, and 10,000s place. Make sure they're all lined up, and even my commas are lined up, right? And I'm going to start from right to left, and I'm going to solve this problem adding up each place value and regrouping or rebundling when I need to numbers as we go through. Okay, so first I'm going to start with 4 plus 1. Well, that's easy enough. That's going to give me 5. There's nothing I have to rebundle or group or anything like that. And I have 9 plus 5, and that's going to give me 14. So I'm going to put my tens place down here. That's how many tens I'm going to have, but I'm going to regroup one of those tens into 100, right? So I'm going to put that here. 5 plus 4 is going to give me 9. Plus one more will give me 10. So I would have 10 hundreds. So I'm actually going to take those 10 hundreds and I'm going to move them to the thousands, and I'm going to have nothing here. Okay. And I'm going to move those 10 hundreds over here to that thousands place. Now I have 4 plus 2, which is 6. Plus one more would give me 7. Nothing to regroup or rebundle there. And then I have 1 plus 2, which would be 3. So I have 37,000. So I have 37,045. That is the total number of roses that they sold. 37,045. All right, awesome. So a couple steps there, but drawing that tape diagram, I don't know about you guys, but that really helps me a lot to really see it and visualize it that way. One more thing that I want to point out is when we're solving word problems like this, especially in problem solving, when it's asking us a specific question, like how many roses did they sell all together, I want to label my answer here. So I'm going to say 37,045. You could say pink and red roses. You could say just roses all together, whatever you want to say. Just label your answer so we know what it is. Okay, so I got that labeled there, which is perfect. And definitely when they say show your work, you want to make sure that you draw out that tape diagram, that you show your math. Especially for me, I love to see this. This is how I know what steps you're taking and if you're doing them brilliantly or if there's something maybe we can kind of fix up a little bit or do a little bit better. Seeing all your steps and all your work drawn out like this definitely helps me. So if you have all these scratch notes all over the place, don't erase them. Let me see them. I love to see that stuff. Okay, so we got our first answer here using the tape diagram, a multi-step problem. We dissected the problem, we drew it out, we added things up when we needed to. Hopefully that's making sense and not so intimidating to you guys. So let's step up our game and let's do another problem example real quick. All right, so I'm going to say right off the bat, this is going to be another multi-step problem. There's going to be more than one step involved into getting to our answer. And we're going to need to use some of the same strategies, whether that's adding, subtracting, or at least just drawing out that tape diagram, right? That's going to help us to be able to kind of see it visually and see what we need to do and what steps we need to take to get our answer. So let's go ahead and read the problem a couple times, make sure that we understand what's going on here, and then we'll move on to our next step. So I want you guys to go ahead and read it one time to yourself, and then I'll read it the second time. We'll read it together, okay? All right, awesome. So it says, last year, Big Bill's department store, one of my favorite places to shop, they sold many pairs of footwear. Footwear being like, shoes, sandals, boots, things like that. It says 118,214 pairs of boots were sold. It's a lot of boots. And I'm going to go ahead and just highlight that number because it might come back into play later. That's how many boots they sold. 37,092 more pairs of sandals than pairs of boots were sold, and 124,417 more pairs of sneakers than pairs of boots were sold. Wow, so we got a lot of numbers going on here, right? A lot of numbers and a lot of the word more. More, okay? So when we have more of something, we're adding something usually, so we can kind of keep that in mind as we go. So they want to know how many pairs of footwear were sold last year. That's the question, how many pairs of footwear. So no matter what the style, how many pairs of footwear were sold, and they want us to use a tape diagram to show our work. All right, well, I think we got some good important parts here, so I'm going to start drawing out that tape diagram to see if I can actually figure out the steps that I need to take to solve this problem. What I want you guys to do is draw out what you think the tape diagram should look like, and then we'll come back and we'll look at it together. Okay, so using my information from the problem, I know that they sold 118,214 pairs of boots. So that's one number that I know right off the bat. So I'm going to draw a rectangle representing that. This will be the number of boots they sold. And they sold, let's see, 118,214. So that's going to be for my boots. So I'm going to put a B out here for boots. You know what, I'll just go ahead and write out boots so I don't forget. So here's my boots, okay? Cool, that's easy enough. So now I'm going to draw out my sandals. Okay, so I'm going to just write sandals here. And do I know exactly how many sandals were sold? No, right? It doesn't tell me exactly how many were sold. It tells me that there was 37,092 more pairs of sandals sold than pairs of boots. So if I draw the pairs of boots, just like here, mimic the one above this, right, which would be the 18,214, right? And then I just draw a little bit more on here. And this could represent the 37,092 more, right? So I would still have this 18,000. I'll just go ahead and write it in here. 118,214. That would be this piece here. Sorry, my lines are getting kind of squiggly in there, but you're getting the idea. So it would be this, the amount of boots plus 37,092. That would give me the total number of sandals that we sold. Okay, with me so far? I'm going to come down here, do the same thing for our sneakers, right? So again, it tells us up here 124,417 more pairs of sneakers were sold. So I know that we have to start off again, just like we did with the sandals, with the same amount of boots, but then I'm going to have to add on, let's see, 124,000. If I can fit it in here, 124,000 417 because we sold that many more sneakers than boots. So now that I have this laid out, I could see how many boots I sold, how many sandals that were sold. I'm sorry, I didn't sell these boots. Big Bill sold these boots. But how many sandals were sold and how many sneakers were sold. So they want to know, our final question here is, how many pairs of footwear were sold last year? So they want to know altogether, out of all of these, how many pairs of footwear were sold. I'm just going to put an F as our variable because that's what we're looking for, the footwear, right? So how many pairs of footwear were sold? So now that we know what we're looking for and we have an idea of what it looks like, what are the steps that we can take to actually solve this problem? Well, if you said that we need to add up all of these amounts, you're exactly correct, okay? I'm going to need to add the number of boots plus the number of boots and the extra for sandals and the number of boots and the extra for sneakers. Now, there's a couple different ways you could do this, really. I could take the boots, right? I could keep that as it is. I could find the number of sandals, so I could do 118,214 plus 37,092. I could set that up that way, find the answer, do the same thing for the sneakers, find the answer, and then add up those three totals. That would totally be fine. I could also do 118,000 three times because I know I have 1, 2, 3 of them. So 118,214 plus 118,214 plus 118,214 plus the other two pieces that I would have to add in here. I could do that as well. There's a bunch of different ways that we can get to that answer. So I'm going to leave it up to you to choose the one that you want to do. I'm going to do my version up here, and then we can check them at the end and see what we get. Okay, so the way I did it was I found the value of each type of footwear first. So the value of the sandals, I did 118,214, which was my boots, and I added on the 37,092, which is how much more sandals that we sold, and I got an answer of 155,306. That was my answer for sandals. I did the same thing for my sneakers, right? I added them up and I got 242,631. That was my value of the sneakers. So then I took my sandals here, sneakers here, boots here, and I'm going to add all three of those up to get our total for all of the footwear that they sold at Big Bill's department store. So now I'm adding three numbers here, so I got to go slow and take my time. I will say that you guys probably can get this far and set up the question correctly. Where you're probably going to hit your mistakes is not adding correctly. So take your time with it. Don't rush through it. I know you know how to add. I know you're super good at it, so make sure that you take your time and do it the right way. So right here, I could do, what I like to do is find numbers to make tens, right? So if I did 6 plus 4, that would give me 10, plus one more would be 11. So I'm going to put one down here. The other 10s I'm going to group and put over here as a group of 10 ones, which would be the same as 110. So then I can go 0 plus 3, so 3 plus 1 is 5. Okay, nothing I need to regroup or bundle there. Here I have 6 plus 3 plus 2, so I would do 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Again, I'm going to put my 100 here, and I'm going to group 10 of those hundreds into 1,000, which I'm going to put right here. Then I have, let's see, 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 5 more would give me 15, plus 1 more would give me 16. I'm going to put my 1,000 here, regroup 10 of those thousands as a 10,000, put it here. Then I would have, let's see, 4 plus 1 is 5, plus 5 is 10, plus 1 more is 11. Same thing. Put the 10,000s and regroup to the 100,000s, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So your total number of footwear should be 516,151 pairs of footwear. Perfect. So this was a multi-step problem, right? I had 1, 2, at least 3 steps here that I had to solve, not including having to map it all out on my tape diagram. But I took my time, I thought my way through it, and I made sure I was doing my adding and subtracting and make sure that I understood that I was actually what I was actually doing using my tape diagram. So hopefully this helps give you some problem solving strategies. Again, if there's anything you're not sure of or any help that you need, reach out to me, let me know. Reach out to your learning guide, let them know. Advocate for yourself. Say, hey man, I'm not getting this. I need some little extra help, little extra practice with it, and we'll make sure to get you what you need, okay? So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging in there with me, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.